Maru, as a multilingual couple between you and your wife, you both speak multiple languages, right? Between you two, do you guys talk about people in front of them? Like, have you had that happen where you guys like talk about people in another language in front of them?
Wait, are we like talking about like a scenario when a person in front of us is like, let's say Chinese or something, doesn't speak English, and we?
No, I'm saying like a person in front of you is Australian, speaks English.
Okay.
And then you guys think he's like got smelly feet, and then you like both look at each other, and then like one of you says in like Japanese or Chinese, whatever you. And you're like, oh, you've got really smelly feet. Well, one of them's Chinese, one of them's Japanese.
There's two languages. How are they going to communicate?
Well, that's why I was confused.
I assume Maru speaks a little bit of Chinese, and I assume Jelly speaks a little bit of Japanese, don't I?
Yes.
No?
Not to a point where we can have a conversation, no.
Really? You guys
Our common language is English. So if a person speaks English and then, we feel a type of a way about it, we can't really... speak in a different language to each other.
You guys don't, because
you just have to resort to loaded stares.
Because I feel like if Flakes and I both spoke like a different language, we would be talking about people in front of them.
We can speak Agish. What are you on about?
I don't speak English.
Yes, you do.
Hi, Peach.
Hi.
Home, Peach. Oh wait, that sounds no.
That
Welcome
sounds
to your home. Yeah.
Does the language barrier ever annoy you? Like I was asking.
You're like American and British language barrier? No, we don't have that because Flakes is being. When I was living in England, when we were living in England, both of us, I was bleeding into English accents all the time. I was saying mate, I was saying in it. I was speaking British all the time.
There's also the fact that he spent a lot of time in Hawaii. And I'm pretty sure the Brits colonized Hawaii, so a lot of British slang leached over into Hawaii.
A lot, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like instead of trash, it's rubbish. They say that.
That's the main example because they definitely. I grew up saying rubbish. I never said trash or garbage. But that's the main one. I mean, there's a bunch of smaller things that are like they kind of bleed over.
Yeah.
Biscuits and cookies. We had biscuits in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So.
But that's a bad example though. How about when you speak to someone who doesn't like speak fluent English?
What do you mean?
Like, have you ever spoken to someone who just doesn't like who can't communicate with you in English? Like, it has to be in like some other type of language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've dealt with a lot of people, like customers and stuff like that I've had to deal with. I've gone into their house and I gotta kind of, and then I'm speaking through their husband or I'm speaking through their wife. Where that's happened, and then like their wife goes to the bathroom or their husband goes to the bathroom, and then I've got to like communicate to them that either I'm leaving or I'm doing something or other. So it's happened plenty of times, but I mean it's just I don't know what the conversation. I don't know.
From my experience, body language goes far when it comes to language barrier. Yeah.
I think my closest experience with that was when I worked in a bar. There was a group of people because I worked on a holiday campsite. There was a group of people that came on a holiday, and they were a group of special needs adults.
Mm-hmm.
And usually they came up in pairs or like groups or with like a carer, I guess.
Right.
But there was this one lady that came up on her own, and she spoke so quietly. She was practically non-verbal, and I couldn't figure out what she wanted for the life of me. I spent like 5 minutes trying to get this drink ordered. But eventually we got it down, but they came back later unhappy, and I couldn't figure it out. I had to call over a manager, so basically I suck at that. But body language wasn't really a factor there. That didn't really work, I found.
Right.
So.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I used to live with a lot of homestay students. I think through that I was able to like learn well their culture first of all, and then also like ways of getting around not being able to communicate through words. Yeah, I think I learned a lot about Koreans during that, and like a lot of ways that sometimes people will say something but they don't really mean it that way, but it does come off like a little aggressive in the Western standards. I just can't think of an example at the moment, but I remember a situation where they offended someone because they did something a certain way when they're saying something. Yeah, there was a lot of that. Yeah, I think that's a good example of a language barrier being frustrating.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely a cultural thing that happens with in America. I mean, we got a lot of different cultures and everything like that. I mean, I deal with people from. Although I definitely think the multicultural people are like, oh, America's so multicultural, but America is really two different cultures. It's Mexican and it's American, and Canadians are kind of there a little bit, but it's mostly Mexicans and Americans, especially on the West Coast. In California, it's a lot of Mexican culture and it's a lot of American culture. And besides that, I don't see a lot of other different cultures. If you go up northwest, if you go up to Midwest, like Michigan and Wisconsin and stuff like that, there's a lot of Middle Eastern culture, like Arabic population. But at least where I've lived for a long time, it's been a lot of Mexican influence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with this. I've had a few.
No,
I've had a bit of a tequila. So.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it is a positive to be able to like experience like a taste of what the other culture. I just can't words at the moment. Yeah, the way they communicate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to taste that a little bit.